Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I am your host, Sybil Amuti. Hey, great girlfriends. And happy September. I am so excited about what's taking place this month, y'all. OMG. Great girlfriends, I hope you have been having an amazing summer because it's closing out soon. That's right, we're heading into fall. But also, shout out to all the moms who have sent your kids back to school, honey. I am one of them. Oh, life is so good right now. And yes, mamas, we love our babies, but we also love when they go back to school. Anyway, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, what are you waiting for? We have over 17,000 dynamic women from around the world, each one pouring in every day, motivation, inspiration, encouragement to really keep you going, keep you boosted. So go over to facebook.com, join the Great Girlfriends group. Thank me later. Oh, and don't forget to add some friends because you know what? It's better to have a party, right? The other thing, we need your reviews. We need to get to 200 reviews in iTunes. So I'm asking you to go over to iTunes, drop your review, like it, love it, put a note in there because the next girlfriend will need to know that the show is as amazing as you think it is. So this week, I sat down with Lucinda Cross, who is a best-selling author, internationally known speaker, TV personality, and energetic teacher of professional and personal development. She was on our show, episode 115, Against All Odds. Her testimony will blow your mind. Lucinda is one of the most inspiring women that I know, and I'm so honored that she was able to sit down with me 1 week before her huge conference in New York and share some of the insights that will take place on September 20th. So head over to lucindacross.com after this episode. Definitely grab your ticket to the Big Ask Live, which is September 20th in New York City. Get a copy of that book and share the conversation in our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends, after you leave your review on iTunes. You see how I gave you all that homework? All in true great girlfriend form. So grab your pen and paper and enjoy this week's episode. Hey there, Lucinda Cross.
Hey, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so amazing that I'm on the phone with you, girl. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much just for having me and inviting me to be a part of your platform. This means a lot, especially from you. You're a boss. You a boss. You a boss.
No, you a boss.
No, you a boss. You a boss.
You a boss. So you. I mean, Lucinda. So, Great Girlfriends, for those of you that heard Lucinda on the first time, I'm sure you're already excited because you already know Lucinda Cross brings the heat. And I'm so super excited because I was just determined to bring to you all what I experienced a couple of weeks back in Jamaica when Lucinda and I were both on this trip, Support Your Girlfriends, that was brought together by Nakia McLean. Shout out to Nakia and the Glossy Posse.
Support Your Girlfriends.
Support Your Girlfriends experience in Jamaica, right? Which I had no idea what I was experiencing, Lucinda. You knew about it because you were on the first and second, and this was now the third. So you already knew what the whole experience was about. No one gave me the heads up that I was walking into like a group of some of the most amazing, heartwarming, game-changing women. Like, you know, I'm truly overwhelmed and inspired by the group of women on that trip and that WhatsApp group that just like it stays on fire. Stays on fire.
It does. It
stays on fire. And I just came back from LA, Great Girlfriends, and I had the chance to celebrate with a few of my Glossy Posse sisters. Happy belated birthday to Tiffany Harden. We celebrated her birthday out in LA, and you know, we just got together, a few of us, and had another Glossy experience. And so I guess it was Glossy LA. I'm not really sure how we should have named that.
Yeah, Glossy LA.
It was Glossy LA.
Yeah. LA takeover.
The LA takeover. And now I'm super excited because on September 20th in New York City, Lucinda is bringing to us the Big Ask experience. And Lucinda, I had a sample of that experience in Jamaica,
And I'm actually fanning myself right now because I'm having I don't know what preliminary experience this is. I'm not going to speak that over my life. I'm just going to say I'm hot and it's cool. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm just going to put it like that, and I'm going to leave it there on the table. And it's cool. So I mean, I don't know, ladies. You tell me what's happening in my life. But anyway, I'm fanning myself with a sheet of paper, a half sheet of white paper, where I wrote down 10 things, and I knocked that bad boy down to 3, and then I got to 1. And you would have thought I was I don't know, taking some kind of entrance exam for college. I wanted to get it so perfect because I wanted an A on my grade. And then on the back side of this paper, I'm looking at some of these saboteurs. And I keep this on my desk because it brought to life some things that I didn't know were sitting on the inside of me that I need to be aware of, that were triggers, negative triggers and blockers to the things that are destined for me, essentially. So, needless to say, great girlfriends, I need you to grab pen and paper. I need you to get in a quiet spot and set aside 20 minutes because, Lucinda, this big ask experience, September 20th in New York City, I know is going to be a larger reflection of the dinner that we had in Jamaica. So tell us a bit about what this is.
Yeah, so it truly is an experience where it'll take you from laughing to crying to praying to just getting excited and feeling like you can fly. The big ask is generally about gaining clarity on what it is that you truly desire and just staying focused on going towards it. A lot of times we have second things first. We'll have our priorities is number 3 on the list or number 10 on the list. And we say all these other things are important. But the big ask is really about going after that thing that'll just break down everything and pull everything into alignment. It'll break down all the things that you think you may have needed or may have wanted, but haven't really went for the main big ask, the one that makes you scared, the one that gives you the hot cold feeling.
Yes.
It pulls everything into alignment. So, the big ask is all about just getting into alignment for this journey that we're on. And this journey can be trying. It can be tough, whether you're in business, whether it's just life, whether it's just motherhood, but it's figuring out what do you need at this moment in order to become who you are.
What's so powerful about that? So, great girlfriends, like I said, we were in Jamaica for the Support Your Girlfriend experience, and we had this powerful dinner where Lucinda brought us a sample of the Big Ask experience that she's hosting on September 20th in New York City, and I keep saying it 10 times because you need to be there. Anyway, none of it is. At that experience, I had a hard time. The first thing that I realized I had a hard time doing was acknowledging what I wanted. I thought I was really great at that until you asked us to put it down on paper. And so many of the things I wanted were things that would fulfill the lives of other people, give me some gratitude, gratification, but, things for my children, things for my family, things for my community, things that were outside of my personal fulfillment. And so as I really started to narrow down, I was like, wow, I wonder how many other women are struggling with asking for what you want for you,
One thing about, and I just love us women, true unicorns. We are, and even when it comes to this conference and this book, it is a giver's guide, right? Because it's those who are the cheerleaders, the supporters, the one that everyone can come and lean on, ask questions, support. They're the ones that are constantly being pulled to the forefront. And when it comes to our desires, it's like, I'm so used to serving everyone else that I haven't showed up and served myself. And when we go through that, there's a sense of not regret, but it starts to trigger some things where you're like, wow, okay, so I've put my children, my relationship, my business, my job, my family, who I'm taking care of in front of what really would help me live and give better, right? And from a space where I'm not depleting and taking away from my plate. And we hear it a million times. Oh, put your mask on first. But the reality of it is we get to a panic that we won't even get to our mask, right? And we're like, so I want us to get into that mode that now is the panic mode. Now is the time that you need to there's no oxygen left, right? And so I want you to breathe for yourself. This is a sense of urgency. And when I think of the Big Ask and this whole movement and the message to women and men, because men are like, listen, I need this book. Can you give it to me? Yeah. God is black. You know, they're happy the book is not pink. You know, they like it black and gold. I could be tough. I could put it in my suit, you know, so.
Exactly. I love it.
It's a sense of urgency to say, we need you to show up as great as you can be and ask for what you want right now while we're under this open, spiritually, they'll say an open heaven, you know, while we're under this open space where you can, it's time to get. Right? It's time to get. It's time to receive.
Well, I want to go, if you don't mind, great girlfriends, I want you to go back to Lucinda's earlier episode and hear her story. But Lucinda, give us a tidbit of how you got to this place, how you got to having the courage to stand, because Lucinda's testimony, y'all, is mind-blowing. It's like, I don't know, Lucinda, it is the stuff movies are made of, I got to say. But, I mean, it really is, and you know it. So, great girlfriends, go back. She's going to give us a sample of it. But I want to know how you got the courage, because at some point you had to make a big ask for yourself, and it gave you the power and freedom to stand with your full story as Lucinda, and then bring this book to the forefront, which is truly powerful. And the methodology in the Big Ask, is overwhelmingly powerful. Powerful, Lucinda. And then now this experience that I hope you're taking around the world. We're going to start in New York. So give us that for me, if you don't mind.
I know that's right. She said we're going to start in New York. And hello, there's a movie coming out. Okay, from her mouth to God's ears. Let's go. I'm ready. Okay.
It's a movie.
But for me, I was tired of one being the best kept secret, knowing that I was talented.
No. We got to stop right there.
Rewind.
Not allow you. The best kept secret. Oh my goodness. I love that. Somebody's sitting in their seat just like boiling over, because we know that feeling of being the best kept secret. Like you understand there's a full treasure on the inside, but the world has not become aware of it. Keep going. I just want to acknowledge and empower someone with that one. All right. As you were.
Yes. Being the best kept secret, when you know that you are sitting on and such greatness, and you know that you're talented and gifted, but you're the only one that seems to know this thing, right? And then you have a few people who do know, but no one's really there to help push you forward, or they don't even know how to handle the greatness that you have, because you don't even, you know, it's just, so dealing with being the best kept secret was one of the things that led me to such great frustration, because I was like, God, when is it my time? I had to be real with myself. When is it my time? When is it my time? But I never sat back to clearly define what that would look like, because if I did, I would have noticed that I passed several times and several moments that I could have seized. But because I kept saying, God, when is my time to shine? What about me? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Can I get some access? Can I get exposure? Can I just get one win? And so because I was just so caught up in what I didn't have because of what I was seeing, I'm out in other places and in other people and watching other people get blessed. It started to make my own light dim, to feel as if I wasn't doing enough and if I wasn't enough for the time and the moment that I was in. But that was a lie, because I had several moments and people come into my life that if I knew and I was clear on what I needed to do next and where I was going, the train would have been running nonstop. And because of that, I missed out on financial opportunities to grow my business. I missed out when my mentor brought me to the table at million dollar mastermind meetings, and I'm sitting at the table and having opportunities thrown at me and not knowing what to do. because of perfectionism, because of procrastination, because I'm still saying, when is it my time? Is this my moment? Well, let me pray about praying about it one more time and talk about talking about it one more time. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a meeting about the meeting about it again, right? And so because of that, I missed out on the people who were just like, listen, I have half of what she has, like maybe 10% of what she has, but I have a strong yes. See, I didn't have that. I didn't have the strong yes. It was, well, what am I going to do about my kids? They're young. When you get to that, it's about riding the wave. I learned this now. Listen, you see, I am surfboarding on God's blessings and life, period, right now, because it was, I missed so many waves because it was like, let me overanalyze and overthink. Well, what am I going to do about the kids? Well, what happens if I get an overflow of sales? And well, what about if I'm booked and busy and all of this stuff before I even get to the yes, instead of just saying yes and allowing things to fall into alignment, because my big ask was out there and I was, and I wasn't clear on what I wanted, but my big ask was out there and I'm just, oh man,
I know.
It gets deep. It gets deep.
We know. And Lucinda, the thing about it, and the reason why you brought it forward is because you know you weren't alone in that process. And so many women, we cycle and cycle and cycle in that scenario. You said, you know, there's that huge thing. If you're waiting on a sign, this is it, right? We're waiting on this big firework display when sometimes we're sitting right in the middle of the opportunities that we're afraid to seize because we're looking for something bigger and more grand. And then looking at God talking about, what about me? What am I? And looking at other people and criticizing their success. How she get it? How she, secretly, suffering with envy and all of those things. So
come on.
We relate. Great girlfriends, the sooner you get honest with yourself, the sooner you get honest with those emotions that are festering on the inside, the sooner you can uproot them. I really believe that. I really do. You get honest about the fact that you're waiting and hoping for something bigger and more exciting. You know, I tell you, I would have never started a podcast. I know that much because it was not exciting at the time.
That's right. That's right.
You know, now it's like the hot thing to do, but it wasn't 4 years ago. It was like, wait, what are you doing? Audio at your house? What?
Yeah. That was like, wait, who's doing that?
Yeah.
Like, who's listening to that?
Yeah, it was not exciting, you know. But shout out to the early adapters who are out here monetizing. I just want to say,
hello. Let's
keep going. Let's keep going. So now we got this book where you break it down for us.
Yes. So with the book, I just want to go through like maybe 2 or 3 chapter titles that I just know and hope would just resonate with the ladies. Chapter 1, step 1, it talks about getting your ask together, you know, and understanding that, okay, let go of all those things that you feel you don't deserve and forget about the time that you tried again. You tried before and it didn't happen. So what? Try again, you know? The other one I love is, don't let an asshole control you. Everybody loves that. They just love the time. I think they just want, you know, I might have some T-shirts that say allergic to assholes, ASK, because it's one of those type of situations where you want to bless someone. And because you're a giver, you want to bless someone, but then you just like, well, dang, didn't you get enough? Like, you know, and so an asshole just truly try to drain you. And it's like, well, let's establish a relationship first. Okay. So first, you know, there's steps and levels to this, you know, but an asshole will not stop and they'll just keep trying to drain every little ounce out of you, you know, and so we can't let an asshole control us. And, you know, that goes into saying having a strong no and a powerful yes. And the other one that I wanted to share is don't outsource your ask. You know what you want. You know, a lot of times we'll say, well, can you ask them for me? Do you think that you can? No. Get your ask together and go and ask for yourself, you know, and so.
Girl, you got me rolling over here.
But you know, you can't keep outsourcing what you know you need. You can't keep outsourcing the thing you know you need, because it's power and it's coming out of your mouth. It's power in verbalizing it, and it's power in feeling it, and going through the process of it. It's a whole dynamic, and it's not just about the law of attraction. It truly is about you saying enough is enough. This is my turn. Yeah. This is my time, and I'm going to knock on as many doors as possible because there's a yes somewhere.
Yeah. And doesn't it sort of feel, I mean, for me personally, when I, take 10 breaths and then say that thing that feels so overwhelmingly scary, and I know that I'm knocking fear over every time I say it, I feel like my esteem and my confidence is built even more because I know that I'm out here doing something daring, and I feel like I'm expanding my opportunities when I do it. Do you feel that way when you ask something that's just, seems out of your reach? But I mean, that's the point of asking. If someone else can reach it faster and hand it to you, right?
Yes. And it gives you, it hypes you up. The energy that begins to flow, you're like, oh, wow, that happened? What's next?
Yes.
And like, I remember going after with my first sponsor, and I was like, wait. It was a tough process, but when I got the yes, I was like, really? And I went big. I said, let me just go big, because I was going for the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit had me waiting, but the big check, she was like, sure, no problem. Check in the mail in 45 days. I was like, just like, it was no meeting for the meeting about the meeting. It was, fine-tuning something. It was just, they said, what do you need? And I was like, I said, well, I need, what can you give? And I just had to get myself together. And she said, what do you need, Lucinda? And I said, And I said a price. And she said, sure, no problem. And I was happy, but I kicked myself in the butt. I said, well, what if I doubled it? Because the same energy you can ask for 20,000, 30,000 is the same energy you can ask for 60,000, which is the same energy you can ask for. You know what I'm saying? And so the same prayer that you put down for a house is the same prayer and energy you could say for a mansion.
Absolutely.
So I looked and I said, I said, where's the easy button? Because I need to get over myself for real.
That's it. Getting over yourself. That's the big part of it. So now, because I think what's happening more and more is people are learning that we each have the power to answer someone's question, to be a yes to someone. You can say yes to something, right? And when we sit at these tables, like what you created in Jamaica, we were able to sit at a table and pour so many yeses into one person's ask that it, like, the whole restaurant was taken by storm. Even our waiter, right, came over and said he was so overwhelmed by what he experienced that he wanted to put an ask out. Like, I was just blown. And so I think what we each as great girlfriends can understand is that, you have so many yeses on the inside of you. You can say yes to someone's big question. And that in turn, when you sow that seed of a yes for someone, you can also harvest it when it's time for you to receive the yes that you need, right? Because one day you'll be on the other side and need a yes, and that will be available to you. And I think that table reminded me that each one of us, we are all empowered to help somehow, some way, be a yes for someone. You don't have to have the whole answer, but if 10 people give a $100 yes, that's $1,000 right there. That's somebody's breakthrough for whatever their need is. You know what I'm saying?
And it goes into life's bank. I truly believe it goes into life's bank. So when my son, needs something and I'm not there and I don't know what's going on, he can grab out of life's bank. It'll pour into him. So I may not see it, but he may see it. Or, my daughter may see it, as she goes to school. And if someone decides to, be mean, maybe just at that moment, because what I've said yes to 3 years ago will save her from a season of depression, and so it goes into life and our life's bank, and nothing is overlooked. That's what I love about just being a part of this whole life journey of the big ask, the big give, because nothing goes overlooked. Nothing.
That is so true. That is so true. And I really, great girlfriends, I hope you're listening, and I hope you write down some big ask. But when I think about that, I think about all the times that I was so centered on my no's, I was just like, I didn't want to face a no. Rejection seemed so overwhelming. And what I've learned in my emotional intelligence, and the more I matured and got confident in my ask, is that I'd rather know who my ask holes are.
Yes. So, yes.
I'd rather know who they are than to wonder who's in my corner and who's going to support and who's going to be available. I'd rather ask and see who turns their back and walks away so I can refine and filter out my corner than to question and never, ever experience the abundance of having great relationships. That's the point of these relationships, is that they're fertile. That's the point of it all.
Yes. Yep.
You remind me of that was when you talked about ask holes. I was like, that is so true. Some people you ask and it just drops to hell. But you like, different question? Where did they can't hold it. They can't drop it, and and that for me was so empowering. So now we're going into this conference September 20th in New York City that is so close to sold out. Great girlfriends, I'm really scared that you're going to miss it if you're not heading over to the website now. But talk about this one-day experience.
Yes, the one-day experience. So we do have, partnered up with some of our Support Your Girlfriends team. So we have our pre-conference networking, which is free at the Harlem Haberdashery on Thursday. The conference is September 20th, that Friday, but we'll be at the Harlem Haberdashery on the 19th in the evening from 7 to 9. Conference starts, like I said, Friday, September 20th at 9:30 a.m. We end at 2:30. Those who are in VIP get to go and go to the Google Innovation Lab, so that's even amazing. But it's more of a work and action shop. It's more of a work and action shop than anything, more than just a conference. So it's not, yes, you're going to get inspired. You're going to get empowered, but we're going to work together to make partnerships happen, joint ventures happen, collaborations within the room happen. So many of us say we need support, we need a team. Well, we're going to pull that together. Let's pull that together in the room. And so we're going to get clear. Clarity is going to be fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to dance. We're going to cry. But most importantly, we're going to walk away with a tangible plan in place. And we have an amazing panel. We have an amazing panel. We have Tiffany, the Budgetnista. We have Lily Ennis, who's like a travel guru. We have Ash Cash, Harlem's own favorite. He's coming from Atlanta to come. And so, and we've just added another young lady who at first her initial was she's not able to, but she said, look at the excitement online. I just canceled my speaking engagement. I'm coming to come over there. Is there still room on the panel for me? And so I'm just excited. I'm excited. Okay. And your great girlfriends are going to have a great time.
Yes. For every person who's talked about wanting to be in the room, and I want to be in the room. And how do you get in the room? That is the room. These are the rooms. Make that investment, right? You make that investment in being in an experience where everyone is working towards a certain outcome. You start to see yourself being elevated in ways that you can't imagine. So thank you, Lucinda, for setting aside time to tell us the room, because more and more women need opportunities to get into think tanks like that and have the experience where, you're doing a deep dive and a brainstorm and you're really coming out with something tangible. So I appreciate it. I personally appreciate it. Now, I know that there are like very limited tickets left, like limited great girlfriends. So this is releasing now so that you can, with your sense of urgency, get your ask in the room.
That's right.
Get your big ask in the room and be prepared to have that full experience with Lucinda. I'm going to be there. I'm ready. I have some ask. Lucinda, what's your big ask? I want to know before we close out. What's your big ask?
My big ask, I'm ready. That film, I am ready to take and turn this story into a film. So I'm looking for film directors, producers, script writers. So I want the story on film. 2020, I need us in the movie theater somewhere, indie film, however, watching the story about this young girl.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that's my big ask.
I love it. Go ahead. Yeah. No.
And I mean, I have several big asks, but that is my top of. That's the desire. That's what makes me, like, even when I think about it, I can't. My cheeks are hurting because it scares me, but it gives me joy. But I see, and that's one thing with the big ask. We got to see what the end result looks like and work backwards.
Yeah.
I'm already in the theater. Yeah. I'm already on the red carpet right now. With my great girlfriends, with my support girls, with my activators. I see them and I'm like, Lucinda over here, Lucinda over there. And everybody just going in and young girls just getting inspired. I'm getting excited.
I love it. I can feel it, Lucinda. I totally feel it.
Wait, hold up. I see Tyler Perry coming. I see Tyler Perry coming this way too. Oh
my God. Yes. And the write-ups. And the remarkable stories that are taught. Oh my gosh, the lives that are going to be changed by it. I see it completely. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Oh, there goes Ava
Listen, great girlfriends. Oh, come on. So for those of you that are listening right now, and you are the answer to this ask, you need to email us at thegreatgirlfriends@gmail.com. We will forward you over to Lucinda. Lucinda, where can they find you on the gram, on the internet? Where are they going to buy those tickets? Give us all that.
Yeah, so they can go to the Big Ask Live, and .com, and they can put in Great Girlfriends. They'll get an amazing discount. I'm not going to say what it is because if anybody else knows about it, I'm going to get cut. But go put in put in Great Girlfriends, and you'll love your discount. But go to the Big Ask Live and just connect with me on Instagram. That's my favorite place to play. And I'm Lucinda Cross on Instagram. And you may see my married name, Lucinda Cross OTT. Have to represent my Nigerian.
Yes. Well, I'm telling you, Lucinda, thank you so much. Thank you for giving us something to consider. Thank you for giving us a place to go and bring our consideration to the table. Thank you for giving us that big book to purchase. So if you can't make it in New York, get the book because I'm sure the tour again. I know it's going to go global, but we're starting in New York, right? And if you're in New York, I would not delay being in the room. Don't close out this year not being in the rooms where you feel you can get the representation and the support that you need, because I'm telling you, there's power in the rooms. I get in them and I'm just like, I'm going to lay my whole ask on the table because I'm believing I harvest. I'm like, I'm going to harvest this time. So I'm going to sow seeds and I'm going to also harvest. And I just thank you, Lucinda, for being a vessel, because that is the most important part. You're a funnel, a throughway by which women can get results. So thank you so much. Great girlfriends. I can't wait to hear your reviews on this episode. Leave them on iTunes. Make sure you send us emails if you want to reach out to Lucinda, thegreatgirlfriends@gmail.com. Let's get her film into the theaters. Let's get this thing popping. So listen, Mr. Tyler Perry, if you listening, holler at your great girlfriends. Ava, if you're listening, Ava, hey girl, we need you. Come on, if you're out there, holler at your girls. You know who's listening. Just going to say it. All right, great girlfriends. We'll catch you next week. Be blessed.
We could not end this podcast without thanking our amazing husbands.
Yes, thank you, Kwaku.
And thank you so much, Rich Daniel.
And our beautiful children. Thank you, Sam and Dylan.
And thank you, Miss Sky Daniel.
And thank you to all of you, great girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter.
You can check us out on our social, on Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on Twitter,
_great_GFS,
and on Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends.
And please make sure that you join our Facebook group, which is over 16,000 women strong.
Absolutely. And make sure you listen every single Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Bean, Podcast Republic, Google Play, and every other podcasting service.
Absolutely.
Be sure to post your questions, share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're signing off.
Peace.
Peace.